What would cause an otherwise kind and courteous paying passenger to receive a low rating from an Uber or Lyft driver? What up, folks? Once again, it is your boy Tim with another ride sharing video. Now, just the other day, I did a video as a response to a TikToker that was posting a video in regards to how rideshare passengers are able to check and see how many one-star ratings they've received from drivers. And many passengers were shocked because they believed themselves that they were overall a respectable passenger that did nothing wrong. So I provided a host of reasons. Veteran driver here, off and on since 2014. A host of reasons why drivers might give passengers a bad rating. And I also invited veteran drivers in the comments to state reasons why they also might give a passenger a low rating. And there was a lot of responses to the invitation. So much so that I decided to do a follow-up video, because even yours truly, I did not cover a hell of a lot of things that were presented from other drivers, and I believe that many of these resonate with many other drivers, including myself. And also, this could be sort of a teaching lesson for anyone that is new as a rideshare driver or considering this as a prospective way of earning extra income. Not to mention passengers that might be doing some of this stuff. It could help you keep your rating respectable. So I'm going to present some of these in no particular order, and they should be, some of these should also be totally understanding whether you're a passenger or a driver. Number one, our safety is a key concern. There's no shortage of rideshare drivers being carjacked, robbed, up to and including complete loss of life. I've done many videos on this. This is not a safe profession for anyone to partake in. Rideshare drivers get carjacked like crazy. The city of Baltimore, 2 months toward the end of last year, 39 drivers carjacked in that one single metropolitan area. 39 of them. And other cities like New Orleans, Detroit, this stuff is happening all over the place, almost on a daily basis. So our safety is of major concern. So the number one issue we have is we need to see who the hell we're picking up. When we come pick you up, you see our picture, you have our name, and you have our license plate number. That is all for your safety. So how are we supposed to feel when we show up to pick up someone that has no profile picture and they have a pseudo name, a nickname, or something of that nature? If you do not have a name and profile picture on your account, you could find yourself as one-star material. You are a safety risk to a driver that wants to know who they're coming to pick up. You want that information, right? Well, so do we. So I highly encourage anyone that regularly catches an Uber or Lyft, put an actual picture on your profile with a real name. I've picked up Slim, I've picked up Ace, I've picked up Spider. Those are not people's names. And the ride sharing company should not allow you to use those. But unfortunately, they do. So I'm pleading with the passengers, change and update your shit before you find yourself with a rating so low nobody wants to pick your ass up. This one came from a gentleman. I never would have thought of this, but in description, it certainly resonated with yours truly. Females that put on sparkly stuff with glitter. The obvious reason is that glitter tends to shed. You don't want to have a passenger in your vehicle that gets out at their stop and leaves behind certain aspects that they were once in your vehicle. And we know how difficult it can be to get glitter particles out of your seat, off the carpet and things like that. In a lot of women's makeup, clothing and things, it does have glitter on it, and glitter sheds very easy. Not only would we want to give you a 1-star for having glitter sprinkled all over our vehicle, the reason is because it can lead to us receiving a 1-star. Imagine a Uber or Lyft showing up to pick you up, and you look down at the seat you're about to sit in, and there's glitter all over it. Would you sit in that? How would you feel about a driver showing up to pick you up with a vehicle that has glitter all over the seat? So because of the passenger leaving glitter behind, it could ultimately lead to us drivers from the next passenger giving us a 1-star rating because our vehicle is not clean. Of no fault of our own, but now we got glitter and things like that in the vehicle. Or we have the option of taking our vehicle out of service, taking a loss, and having to go vacuum up your glitter. And we all know how difficult it is to get glitter out of your seat, even with a vacuum cleaner. So the glitter sparkly thing certainly resonates, and everybody that's watching should understand that. Next, this is a big one. Not only is it an annoyance, it also could be against the law in a lot of jurisdictions. Trying to bring drinks in cans in our vehicles. A lot of us pick up folks coming out of the bar, with their last little bit of beer or, their last, little bit of wine or something in the bottle, and they want to get in the vehicle with that alcoholic beverage in their hands. Now, a lot of municipalities, most municipalities in this country, do not allow open alcoholic containers in the vehicle. So just by letting you in the vehicle, we're putting ourselves in jeopardy of some serious ticket of something of sort. So we certainly do not want to do it from that aspect, but it does happen. I had a passenger get in my vehicle once, and while driving down the road, I noticed he had a can of beer he was sipping on. I tried to be nice, let him finish his beer as we went on to our location. Well, after the trip was over, he got out the vehicle. Guess what a can was? It's in my cup holder. So now I don't even have the damn passenger in the car, and I'm riding around with an open container. 0 stars if it was allowed. We can only give you 1, but that shit is a definite no-no. Do not get in our vehicle with any sort of open container. It is a detriment to us from all angles. And not to mention, if we get a ticket for having an open container in our vehicle, we can actually get completely removed from the Uber and Lyft platforms. Essentially meaning you have completely gotten us terminated from the way we earn income. So that is absolutely a total no-no, trying to get in a vehicle with some sort of an open container. Next, forcing us to reprimand you. We want the drive to be as smooth and pleasant as passengers want it to be. We don't want to have to tell you no and stop doing that, such as the open container thing. But passengers getting in the vehicle, not wanting to put their seatbelt on. I did a video the other day of somebody who actually attacked the driver simply for asking them to put the seatbelt on. A lot of times our vehicles have bells and whistles going off because you don't have a seatbelt on. We don't want to drive down the street with that shit. Not to mention, once again, it's another law based on most municipalities. There's very few places you can go in America where a passenger is allowed not to wear a seatbelt. So put your damn seatbelt on and quit giving all sorts of resistance to the driver. Any passenger that refuses to put their seatbelt on, we absolutely do not want to pick you up ever again for the rest of our damn lives. And this also would include things like getting in our vehicle, trying to light up a cigarette. Vaping is one where, because it doesn't use fire to some degree, or it doesn't have the same type of smoke, a lot of passengers think that it is okay to vape in areas where there is no smoking. Well, in reality, secondhand vaping is not healthy either. So do not get in the vehicle trying to vape. And a lot of passengers do that. Not to mention touching. Not necessarily from a sexual standpoint, although that does happen. We're also talking about passengers that like to touch when they talk. Don't touch the driver. Do not touch drivers. This is all 0-star material. But until they change the rating, we'll give you 1 star. We don't want to deal with you. Keep in mind, folks, the whole purpose of giving 1 star is to tell Uber, to tell Lyft, to change their algorithms so that they know we don't ever want to deal with your ass again. That is the purpose of why a driver would give you a 1 star. This next one should resonate with anyone who ever drives a vehicle. You don't even have to be in rideshare to understand this shit would piss anyone off. Passengers that make demands, also known as backseat drivers. Passengers get in our vehicle, they're about to miss their damn flight, they're late for work, so they're telling us, speed up. Go around, do a U-turn. You got passengers that know how to navigate the city better than maybe the GPS. So now they're telling us to take turns, go down alleys, and do things that are not on the GPS. Backseat drivers, passengers making demands. We don't ever want to deal with you again. That is certainly a 1-star rating. I had a passenger ask me to go on the shoulder to go around traffic. Not only is that making a demand, that is actually a moving violation. If we get a ticket, the passenger is just going to get out of the vehicle. That ticket is probably going to be more than we earned for the entire damn day. So we certainly do not want backseat passengers in our vehicle. And we have all had them. Don't do that shit. That is a very easy way to become a 1-star passenger. Next, I mentioned this in my previous video, the part 1 to this, but not to the passion that I got out of the comment section. I was amazed at how many drivers responded to this in kind from a stronger aspect. Stanky ass passengers that stink. Now keep in mind, stinking does not necessarily have to mean bad hygiene. Bad odors could come from too much cologne, a woman that's wearing perfume that just simply does not resonate with your nose. Maybe she put the whole damn bottle of it on. And last but not least, which is one of my pet peeves, very loud, odorous gums and candies. Whereas you're chewing gum that has a very loud, putrid odor. And particularly for drivers that let passengers sit in the front seat, you got a passenger that is overwhelmingly talkative, and they got this loud odor coming out of their mouth from whatever gum or candy they're chewing. That is a huge pet peeve of mine. I'm going to 0 or 1-star your ass all day long. I may not even get you to your destination. I can't deal with that stinky shit, but that is me. Next, sending children without an adult passenger. Now, that actually goes against the terms of service. So for you passengers out there that regularly do this, understand the driver has the right to just tell your child no. And I'm talking, when I say child, I'm talking up to 18 years of age. So even if you got a 16 or 17-year-old, we do not have to let them in a vehicle. In fact, we're not supposed to let them in a vehicle. I understand a hell of a lot of passengers request trips for their children going to and from school and things like that. But if you're not an adult, or you don't supposed to get in the vehicle alone as a minor, and this happens all the time, we're going to give you a 1-star for that because it puts us in a confrontational position. The last thing we want to do is have to kick a kid out of the car and make them stand in front of a school that everybody has left or something of that nature. So you're not only doing an injustice to us as drivers, you're not doing the best by your child. Because like I just stated, the ride coming to pick your child up has the option to leave your child there. In fact, they are supposed to. This is also why we mentioned earlier in this video about having a profile picture and an actual name. That's the person we want to pick up, not Shorty. So understand that having us come pick up children could not only get you a 1-star, it could end up getting your child left behind. We're not supposed to do it. The next one is fairly big. I was amazed at how many drivers brought this up. And this is important because a lot of passengers think it is part of a normal trip from point A to point B. One word, stops. We hate stops. What is a stop? I'm going home after work and I want to stop off at the gas station to pick up some smokes. I'll only be in for 5 or 10 minutes. Understand the drivers are earning anywhere between a few pennies per minute to maybe 25 cents a minute waiting on you. In my market, we earn 9 cents per minute waiting on passengers on a stop. So if you run into the gas station and you're talking it up with the clerk or you're talking about the game or something and you take up 10 minutes of my time while I'm waiting on you to come back out the gas station, I have earned 90 cents for those 10 minutes. And that includes the cost of idling my vehicle, maybe having the air conditioner on a hot day or the heat on a cold day. 90 cents for 10 minutes. Not one single driver in rideshare likes to wait. It is a total unwanted part of rideshare. Now, I understand Uber and Lyft gives you the ability to do this. Uber allows passengers to stop up to 5 times. going to tell you flat out, I will leave your ass. Period. There is no damn way I'm going to take any passenger and stop 5 times. The only way you can offset this, you can offset plenty of these things on this list, is with a tip. Nevertheless, as I stated in my previous video, only about 20 to 30% of Uber and Lyft passengers tip. So there's no way I'm going to even take the chance, knowing that there's a 70 to 80% chance that you're not going to leave a tip. And that is indeed the nature of this business. The overwhelming majority of passengers do not tip their drivers. So understand, if you're asking for things that are above and beyond our duty as a rideshare driver, you're going to get a hell of a lot of pushback. Because we know we're not going to receive, we know there's very little likelihood we're going to receive gratuity at the end. And I would encourage any passenger, if you are asking a driver to do something that is above and beyond their duty, like help me carry some groceries up the steps, or could you help me with this walker, or could you wait until I come back out with the bag so my kid gets out, or something of that nature, offer some gratuity up front. Let the driver know I got you, and not through the damn app. Let me make this clear. Something else that pisses us drivers off. This phrase, I will tip you through the app. 90%, I read an article, 90% of passengers that promise to tip us through the app do not follow through. I will tip you through the app is one of the worst phrases a driver can hear. Do not say that shit. Even if you mean it, do not say that. We do not believe you. In fact, we don't expect the tip to begin with, which we're not happy about. But then when you lie on top of it, it only makes us more angry. 1 star all day, every day. Don't promise to tip through the app. We don't believe that shit. And last but not least, slamming the car door or the trunk. Obviously, you got to exit the vehicle, and you have to be the one to close the door on 99% of the trips. And there are passengers that slam the car door. These are our vehicles. We have to pay 100% of the maintenance and upkeep of these vehicles. If you slam our door, chip paint getting out, or something of that nature, that is on the driver. Now, obviously, we're insured, but the deductible is on the driver. Do not slam our doors. Do not slam our trunks. Do not do anything to damage the vehicle, or even make it appear as if you're being negligent or unconcerned on the risk of damaging the vehicle. You have a vehicle. If you have a car yourself, how do you feel when somebody appears to be careless with your vehicle? Do you want them riding with you? Same thing here. That's why I'm bringing up putting drinks in the car, leaving sparkles behind, unsavory odors, slamming car doors, and things like that. At the end of the day, these are the vehicles of the rideshare drivers themselves. So if you damage the vehicle, you are costing that driver money. And I will add this to that. The next passenger after you may rate us based on the damages, food, drinks, and things you left behind. So you can cause us damages or potentially a low rating from someone else based on your actions. So all of that can lead to a 1 star. Hopefully I didn't miss much on this go round. But as always, I do encourage passengers, but certainly drivers, veteran drivers, post in the comments, did I miss one? Did I get it right on this time? Because there's a lot of things that the passengers do not realize that we deal with. And in the last video, I mentioned one that is still probably one of the biggest ways to get a 1 star rating from a driver, and that is to not tip. I told you earlier in the video, 20 to 30% of passengers tip. We work for tips, folks. I understand a lot of passengers are going to push back. It's wrong to give a passenger a 1 star rating based on a tip, particularly when Uber and Lyft is making it clear tips are not even required. Well, try going to a restaurant or going to a bar and being known as a non-tipper. There is no motivation to serve you. You don't have to tip a waitress in a restaurant. You don't have to tip your bartender. Try going in there and not doing it. See what kind of motivation they have to service you. It's the same in our industry. This is a service industry. we can opt out of servicing you. Hence the 1 star. If there's no motivation to service you, we're going to give you a 1 star. So while you do not have to tip, understand that we live for tips. Regardless of what you're paying on your trip from point A to point B, the driver gets between 25 to maybe 40% of your fare. So understand that. If you pay $10 to get from point A to point B, the driver probably got anywhere from $2.50 to about $4 of that fare. Tips are very important to us. And don't ever believe some crazy-ass notion that started out in the infancy days of ride sharing that there's some way, somehow, a tip that's included in the fare. It is not. That is utter nonsense. That was ridiculous from day one. There is no tip automatically included in the fare. Tipping is extremely important to us drivers. It helps supplement the income, which is low. And if you don't tip, which is your option, the driver may give you a 1 star, which is their option. Hopefully I got them all right this time. Catch you guys in the next video. Encourage you to subscribe to the channel because this is generally what we talk about from a no-holds-barred perspective. And I'll see you next time.
For the love.